Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a deeply fascinating concept, one that literally affects every single one of us. We're talking about the art of accelerated sleep naturally. Our goal here is to help you master what honestly feels like the most elusive skill in the modern world, falling asleep quickly, but without relying on any artificial aids. I mean, think about it. How much of our lives do we spend just trying to force ourselves to rest, only to wake up feeling totally drained? So let's unpack exactly how we can turn this from a nightly, frustrating struggle into a totally seamless routine.
But hey, before we get to the solution, we've got to acknowledge the problem. Why exactly do we toss and turn? Look, we have all been there. You're lying awake in bed, just staring at the ceiling, watching the minutes slowly tick by on the clock. You're absolutely exhausted, your body feels super heavy, and yet your mind is just racing and sleep flat out refuses to come. It honestly feels like a battle against your own biology, right? Well, what if we flipped that paradigm? What if we framed sleep not as some miserable battle to be won by force, but as an elegant, completely natural process that we can gently and effectively speed up?
Okay, let's dive into this and look at our roadmap for today. First up, we'll explore the quest for faster sleep. Second, defining accelerated natural sleep. Third, the actual steps to sleep faster. And finally, putting it all together in your new sleep routine. Starting off with Section 1, the quest for faster sleep. We're going to unpack this universal desire for a quicker transition to rest, looking at the foundational concepts that'll completely change how you approach the end of your day.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the built-in tension, right there in the phrase, how to sleep faster naturally. Faster perfectly represents our modern obsession with efficiency, doesn't it? We want results, and we want them the absolute second our head hits the pillow. But notice how it's anchored by the word naturally. This means we aren't popping melatonin gummies or sleeping pills to forcibly shut our brains off. Instead, we're talking about leveraging your body's own biological triggers, things like core body temperature drops and circadian cues. It's about achieving a rapid transition into rest without bypassing your innate systems. It's a bold promise for sure, the idea that we can achieve incredible speed simply by working with our biology instead of fighting against it.
Moving right along to Section 2, defining accelerated natural sleep. Here, we'll break down the core concepts from the text, reframing sleep as a practiced, deliberate skill.
So what is accelerated sleep? It's the intentional process of drastically reducing the time it takes to transition from wakefulness to sleep by using natural methodologies. I really want you to focus on the word intentional here. So often, we view falling asleep as this totally passive event, like it's just something that happens to us when we finally collapse at the end of the day. But accelerated means we are actively shrinking that gap between the moment our head hits the pillow and the moment of actual slumber. You do this by intentionally controlling your environment, dimming the lights to signal dusk or cooling the room to mimic the evening air. You are taking control of the transition rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping it happens.
And this brilliantly illustrates the big difference here. On one side, you have forced sleep. That's relying on sheer exhaustion or heavy medication, essentially just bludgeoning your body into unconsciousness while totally ignoring your natural rhythms. Sure, it might knock you out, but it completely disrupts the quality of your rest. On the flip side, we have accelerated natural sleep. This is all about removing resistance. It's aligning so perfectly with your body's natural state, maybe through some pre-sleep reading or gentle stretching, that your transition into sleep encounters zero friction whatsoever. Now, shifting into Section 3, steps to sleep faster. We're going to look at the chronological process of accelerating your rest. As we start to kind of land the plane here, we'll translate these high-level concepts into a structured daily sequence you can actually use. We can extract this awesome step-by-step framework right from the text to make things highly practical. Step 1. Approach sleep as an art. Think of this as your behavioral wind-down routine, like putting away those screens an hour before bed. You've really got to carefully craft the conditions for rest. Step 2. Focus on accelerated transitions. This involves using environmental triggers. For instance, dropping your bedroom temperature to signal to your brain that it's time to shut down. It smoothly bridges that gap between being awake and asleep. And step 3, rely entirely on natural methods. Use the tools your body inherently provides. Things like 4-7-8 deep breathing, where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, to manually and completely naturally lower your heart rate. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, your new sleep routine, where we put the art into practice tonight. We've unpacked the science, but the true value comes from application, right? How exactly are you going to implement this roadmap when the lights go out? So the crucial point is we really must take these actionable takeaways to heart. First, remove unnatural barriers. That means banning the blue light of your smartphone from the bedroom, simply because it tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime and completely halts your natural melatonin production. Second, practice the art nightly. Going to bed at the exact same time every single day builds a super reliable physiological habit. Over time, your brain actually starts to anticipate sleep before you even lie down. And third, allow the body to accelerate its own rhythm. Don't stress out if it takes a few nights to adjust. You're simply allowing your body's innate acceleration to take over unhindered. Just let it do its thing.
When we take a step back and look at the core philosophy of the art of accelerated sleep naturally, notice just how peaceful yet incredibly powerful it really is. Ultimately, mastering this process is entirely about harmony. Your body already knows exactly how to sleep. Your only job is to master the art of getting out of its own way, accelerating the transition by simply being natural.
So instead of dreading that awful tossing and turning tonight, view your bedtime as a fresh opportunity to practice this new, friction-free transition. With all these natural tools at your disposal, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. How fast will you fall asleep tonight?